Hey guys, so today we're going to learn how to create animated GIFs with Photoshop. The first thing we're going to do is import the frames of our GIF. And you can see a preview of what I'm going to be doing here by clicking on this GIF right here. So essentially we're going to be creating an animation of these pictures I took with using the burst mode, and we're going to animate a little logo that's going to fade in and spin, and then sort of be there for a little bit at the end there. So with this right here, we're going to have to import these pictures. And the way we're going to do this is going to go down to scripts and say import, or rather load files into stack. And it's going to bring up this little dialog box to have you find the layers. To find the pictures you're going to use, we're going to go to that download stack that I had that you downloaded here. So we have 6 pictures and this little logo. We're going to place the logo a little later. So let's grab the 6 pictures first. So I'll just grab these. I'll start with the first, and I'll just kind of hold down Shift, grab them all, press OK, press OK. And so what we have here is, in a moment, we'll have 6 layers in this one image. And so we can kind of see like the progression here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there. And let's go ahead and render them all invisible except for the last one. And what we'll do is I'm going to go here to File, and I'm going to say Place Embedded, and I'm going to find that last little logo here, and I'm just going to place it right here. I might make it a little bit bigger, but you can place it, I'll place it right here, kind of like level with her glove. And so what we want to do now is we want to duplicate these 2 layers here so we have 10 copies. Essentially what we're going to start off with is we're going to start off with a blank layer of this picture of her finishing her throw, and then then the logo is going to fade in, and as it fades, then it's going to rotate. And I'll show you how we do that in a second here. So the first step is going to duplicate all the layers here. So I'm going to hold down Shift, and I'm going to select both these layers. And that's the whole idea. You can hold down Control and you can click layers that are sort of non-adjacent to one another in the stack. But if you hold down Shift and you click in different layers, it's going to select all the layers in between. It works the same way when you're selecting files. So hold down Shift and select these 2 layers, right-click on them, and say Duplicate Layers. And just press OK, and it'll just come up as a copy. And then we're going to select the 2 of them together. So right now we have two copies. So once again, grab that softball one, hold down Shift, and select the next one down, right-click on it, and say Duplicate Layers. Press OK. And so now we have a total of 4. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And what we'll do is we'll select the softball 3, copy 3, hold down Shift, grab the next one. Oh, so if you hold down Shift too many times, press Shift too many times, it's going to ask you to turn on sticky keys. Sometimes people who have a hard time kind of controlling the motion of their limbs, like you have like MS or you have like palsy or whatever, they have this little thing where like the keys won't work, they won't continuously repeat. Like you hold down the letter F or hold down the letter, any key, and it'll continually make, the letter over and over again until you let it go. If you turn on sticky keys, it won't happen. So if that happens, just press No. Just don't ever press yes, because it's a real pain to get rid of. That's okay. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'll just right click here and I'll press Duplicate Layers. Let's see, we got 8 total now, so I'll just make 3. So I'm just going to select 3 here. 1, 2, 3. There, right click on it, say Duplicate Layers. So you'll see copy 9, or copy 10, that's fine. Alright, so you see copy 10, and so we'll have 10 copies plus the last one here. And this is how we're going to start off with the top one here. So everything's still invisible below softball copy 10. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just duplicate one more of these guys, which is the DSC0342 JPEG copy 10. I'm just right click on that. I'm just going to say duplicate that one layer by itself, and that'll show up right above it. So if you see this, where copy 10 and copy 11 are right next to one another, we want to move copy 11 above softball copy 10. So that makes everything disappear because it's obscuring everything. So I'm just going to press this little eyeball here, which is going to make this go away, and then we'll see this right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a rotate. I'm going to have it rotate 360 degrees over the course of these 10 layers, these 10 copies. And I'm also going to have it fade in kind of evenly over the course of these 10 copies as well. So if we're doing it from 100% opacity, that means we're going to have to start with 10% and then one by one have them come up to 100%, so 10, 20, 30, 40. And if we're going to rotate this 360 degrees over the course of 10 steps, then each step needs to go how many degrees? All right, if you said 36, then you're correct. And so we'll have to do a little bit of math here. So let's start off with copy 10. I'm going to make copy 10 10% opacity. So just the little opacity measure right here in the layers menus right there. And I'm going to rotate this by clicking on the little corner, and it's going to bring up these transformation controls. And you'll see over here at the top this little angle, little rotation angle. And you can just type in 36 degrees and just press enter. And then once you're done with that, you have to kind of accept the changes. So you press this little check mark here, and that'll allow you to check that. Now, I want to say if we try to merge the layers down, it's not going to let us. Oh, it did. Okay, good. So now this layer right here is its own thing. So if I were to kind of bring my move tool up and I just were to move this around, you would see that little faded out logo kind of hanging out there in the grass. So I'm going to make this invisible, and I'm going to go down to the next one. And softball copy 9 is going to be 20%. And I'm going to click my little rotation handle here, just kind of click outside of it. If you see the anchor kind of the cursor turns into a double-sided arrow that's going to point, across if I'm going to affect it one way, diagonally if I'm going to affect it a different way, and then curved if I'm going to rotate it. So click once there, and 36 plus 36 is 72. Right? So we'll just rotate it 72 degrees, and I'll press the little check mark, and I'll right-click on it and say merge down. And so we're going to repeat this 10 times, so if you want to just fast forward the video, you can. If you want to watch me do this the whole time, then by all means. I'm going to take softball copy 8, 30% opacity, and what is 72 plus 36? 108. Center, press check, right click, merge down. Then I'll make this invisible too. Alright, so copy 3, so that'll be, where are we at here? I want to say this was 10, 20, 30, so this will be 40. And 108 plus 36 is 144. Let's check. Merge down. Okay, invisible. Alright, so we're halfway there, so we'll change this to 50%, and you should have already know what half the circle is going to be. Half the circle is going to be 180 degrees, so we'll click over here, I'll make a 180 degree rotation, so it'll be completely upside down. Alright, and so we'll just take this out right here, and, no we won't, we'll right click on this and we'll merge down. This is visible. And so softball copy 5, we'll make this 60% opacity. Now this is a little tricky. We can't make this go 216 degrees because it can only go 180 degrees, after which we have to go backwards, negative. So I'm going to go click this little rotation handle here, and I'm going to say negative 144, which is going to make it go like a, 60% turn here. There's this check mark. Mark it down. This is visible. I'll call this 70% opacity. Negative 108. Just a little check mark there. Right click, march down, make that visible. This will be 80% visibility. Right click on it. 72. Or negative 72. So click there. Yeah, click on it. Push down. Visible. 90% opacity. Rotate it negative 36 degrees. And check mark there. do here is we'll merge this down. At this point, it's almost completely visible here. And then lastly, we have softball copy, and then we have softball final. So I'll just right-click this down, and then I'll right-click this down as well. Merge that down as well. So we have two so far. We have this one and this one are both upright and completely solid. So I'm going to rename this one at the very bottom. I'm going to call this one final, and this one I'm going to rename this one and call this final copy too. Final copy. Right click on this, and we're going to duplicate this final one 3 times here. So just right click on it, duplicate layer, right click on it, duplicate layer, right click on it. And so we should have, and I'll just call this one final copy 4. So we have 5 total, and we'll see why we have those in a second. So with all this done, I'm going to go ahead and save, just so I have my progress saved. And I'm going to call this just Lobello GIF project. Press OK. Let that save. So this is a lot of information. These are really big photos. So before we export this, we're going to have to size this down, because they're pretty big photos and they're pretty big files in general. I think if we were to look at how big they were, they'd be about 6 megabytes. So multiply that times however many we have here. We've got 5, 10, 15. So we got like 20, 25 or so these pictures here. Okay, so to get this to be animated, we have to open up a new window. We go to Window, we go to Timeline, which is down towards the bottom here. Timeline. And you might not see Create Frame Animation. You might see Create Video Timeline. But we're going to say Create Frame Animation. And so you click this little arrow here, and you find Create Frame Animation. You select that, and then you have to click this little button right there. This is Frame Animation. And I'm going to go ahead and change this. This little guy right here is basically our first frame, and it's going to tell us how long each frame is going to be. In this case, each frame is 0 seconds, and so we're going to change this to 0.1 seconds. We're just going to make this GIF last about 3 seconds, all told. So we have about 30 frames. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to this little menu here, this little button that looks like 4 lines stacked on top of one another. Click on that, and we're going to say Make Frames from Layers. Press that there, and they're all going to come out. And it looks like we didn't save that right there, so I'm just going to hold down Shift and select all these guys. Let's say there's no more layers. That's good. 20 layers. So hold down Shift, select all the layers, and then choose 0.1 seconds. So they all turn to be 0.1 seconds. And you press spacebar, they'll play. There's one moment here where like my thing goes off a little bit here. I want to say it's one of the ones that I just showed you how it moves. That's okay. If yours does that, that's fine. But what we'll do is this. It goes on forever when you test it, and you can kind of see what's going on. But you notice that it's going backwards. It's starting with the last frame because it starts from the bottom. So I'm going to click on this little menu again, and I'm going to say Reverse Frames. So now we'll play it. There you go. Comes in real nice. Good stuff. All right. Cool. So before we export this as a GIF, we want to make sure this is a good deal smaller. So I'm going to go over to Image Size, and I'm going to change this. I'm going to make sure that this is so right now it's 20 inches wide, and I'm going to change this from dimensions here. You have various different things to show from as far as that goes. I'm going to change this to percent, just so I know. And I want to make it about 10% the normal size. So right now it's 20 inches. I'm going to make it 2 inches. So now it's 10% the normal size it is, which is going to severely reduce the file size. And we'll just press OK. And it's going to get really teeny in just a second here as this loads up. And it really isn't necessary for a GIF to be large, because usually it's going to be on like a mobile device, or it's going to be on a website somewhere, or it's going to be like on your little chat. And you definitely don't want it to be that big, because if it's that big, then it's going to be a lot of memory. It might not send. Because earlier this was like 60 some odd megabytes, and that's too big for even your Facebook Messenger. And I want to say you probably won't be able to send that via Twitter either. If you do Twitter, I don't know what you guys do. Anyways. To export this as a GIF, we need to go down to File, Export, and find this option that says Save for Web, in parentheses it says Legacy, and you notice there's like a little Alt-Shift-Control-S, so like, you know, Control-S is Save, Control-Shift-S is Save As, Control-Alt-Shift-S is Save for Web. Okay. And so we choose that, and it's going to automatically give you GIF as an option. So I'm going to go ahead and just, if you don't have GIF set up here, just go ahead and make sure you choose GIF from this little drop-down menu. And I just, you know, I don't think there's anything you really need to change down here. You could obviously change the dimensions from wherever it was to what you have now, but I found that if it's already big, as you export it, it takes a second for it to load up this little menu here. So it's always nice to have it already changed before you get it. So I'm just going to go ahead and press save, and it's going to offer up this little menu here to, you know, show you. I'll just save it in the same spot I had it before, which was, let's go to libraries, videos, let's see, GIF ingredients. Let's look here, GIF ingredients. I'll say this is Libello GIF project.gif. Whatever you have in this little box here, make sure it says .gif at the end. Save it. It saves, and I'll just save this one last time, and I'll go ahead and minimize this, and so I'll go to my videos. I need to create some space on my drive here. Videos, GIF ingredients, GIF. And we can say Libello GIF project.gif. And there's that. Looks nice. Alright, so go ahead and get this exported as a GIF. If you've got any questions, let me know. Cannot wait to see you guys produce. And what I want you guys to do is, when you get done with this, think about the kind of GIF that you could make with your own burst shot that you take with a camera, and see what you can come up with. We'll create our own in the next couple days. All right, very good. See you in class.